What's up, you guys? Chelly, the Forex TradeHER here, having on the her in this male-dominant industry because y'all know the vibes. And if you don't know the vibes, you know now, okay? So I was asked to make a video covering fundamental analysis. So that's exactly what I'm going to bring to you guys. I'm not going to talk you to death. We're going to jump right in and learn a thing or two, okay? And of course, I'm going to have some notes for y'all. So of course, pause the video, take a snapshot, write them down, because y'all know I do delete them as we move on, depending on what I have to show y'all. So today is the perfect day to make this video. Let's just go ahead and dive in. The reason is there was a lot of different news that came out. And as you can see, there's bank holidays and orange folder, red folder, every folder that we need to cover. Okay, so let's proceed. Now, I don't know what site you guys have been using to keep track of all your economic data releases, but I've been using Forex Factory for literally 3 years, over 3 years now. And it's literally the best platform in my opinion. There are other different platforms, but this platform is my favorite one, and it's really the only one that I've actually tested, used, and really incorporated into my strategy from 2019 up until now. So first things first, before we go into these folders a bit further, I'm going to start us off with some notes so that you'll understand things and really be able to keep up while we move along. So first things first, folder colors, I guess that's what we'll call it. So as I just said, we have all the different folders that we're going to discuss today. This is going to be what I call a cheat sheet. We have gray folder, yellow, red, and orange. These are all the different folders you will see throughout your trading journey and each and every time you analyze the news. And another thing before I dive into this, fundamental analysis. What exactly is fundamental analysis? Fundamental analysis is literally not trading off of news, but incorporating news into your analysis so that you don't mess up a good potential setup because you didn't know some news was going to come out. Fundamental analysis covers things like gross domestic products, consumers products, political events, when the president talks, when certain governors talk, things of that nature. So Forex Factory literally shows you when all those news releases are going to happen so that you won't be left out of the loop. Now, these different colors, you guys, orange folder means medium impact to the market. So what that means is when news comes out for a orange folder event, that means that it's going to have a bit of an impact on the market, not too drastic, but drastic enough that you need to wait to enter your trades if you don't prefer to trade news. Red folder is high impact. Now, this is the news you want to ideally stay clear of if you have no experience trading news. Of course, I'm going to show you how you can go about doing fundamental trading. I personally stick to technicals and I just check the news upon entering the market just to make sure it's not going to mess up my setup or entry. But if you'd like to trade news, I will show you how you can go about that. Yellow folder news is low impact. And what this means is you don't have to worry about it. Has little to no effect on the market. So yellow folder news, anytime you see yellow folder news coming out, you don't have to clutch your pearls. You don't have to get all uptight and, nervous or anything. Yellow folder news has literally no effect on the market whatsoever. It's really the red folder and the orange folder that you mainly need to worry about, as well as gray. Gray is your bank holidays. And as a lot of you know, when the banks are closed, you should be closed too. And honestly, just to go a step further, you don't have to ideally not trade that whole day. And I'll show you exactly what I mean. But ideally, you want to make sure that whatever pair has a bank holiday, whether that's the US dollar or, whatever dollar it may be, you want to make sure that you're not taking trades with that currency because the banks move the markets. So if the bank is closed, the market, that particular currency will not have as much volatility as it would if the bank were open. So take your screenshot, y'all, pause, this is the moment. And I'm going to switch over to Forex Factory. So this is from today's market, you guys. It is May 26th, Thursday, the last best day of the week to trade. Reason is the market moves best Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So this would be the last day that I would be looking for setups, unless we're talking cryptos. Now, for these top three, the Chinese franc, I think that's what that stands for. I don't trade the Chinese currency, y'all. So if I said that wrong, don't butcher me. This is not something I trade, but I think it's like the Chinese currency, the euro, and then another, I don't know why they have 2 euros, but yeah. Anyways, these are non-economic things. And basically what this is telling you that the banks are closed. There's some holiday going on in these countries and the banks are closed. So whenever the banks are closed, you should be closed. So if you wanted to trade the euro with the Chinese or the euro with the US dollar or the euro with the yen, you can expect that the pairs will be moving slow because the banks are closed. So that is the easiest way to put that. Moving on to the orange folder news. Like I said, orange folder news, medium impact expected. So what that means is, if you look over here, you'll see the forecast and the previous. The forecast is what actually happened. And actually, let me refresh this because I don't know if it's, there we go. I'm like, it's missing some stuff. So rerun. So the orange folder news, you guys, is medium expected release. And what that means is the forecast, this is what they're expecting. The previous, this is what happened the previous time this news was released. And the actual is what actually happened today. Now, whenever you see green, that means that it was a good news release. It was a good, whatever, good percentage. It was higher than whatever they forecasted. So that means that at this moment, the market was probably buying for a split second. Now, if you look down a step lower, the second one, another orange folder, again, this is the forecast and this is the actual, and this is what happened last time. So they were expecting 1.5%, and unfortunately, it only hit 0%. So what that means is this is red folder, this is bad, this is red news, this is bad, this is negative, it's lower than what they were expecting. So that means that in this moment, the market probably was selling. Now, I know you're probably thinking, okay, they have 2 of these that came out. They have one that was good, one that was bad. What the heck do I do? The best thing I can tell you is there is a folder right here. There's a details section. All you do is click the folder, open the details, and then they're going to give you the source, where the news came from, the measures and all that, the usual effect, the frequency, so how often it's released, the next release date, which would be next month, June 21st, and then some notes, blah, blah, blah. Now, these are the notes that you will care about. What this is going to tell you basically why traders would care. There's usually a section that actually says why traders would care. I'm guessing they did some sort of update, or maybe it's just not showing on this section. But normally there's a section that says why traders care. It'll tell you exactly what to expect and how they trade it. And then you'll go from there. Now, I'm going to explain that a little deeper, but first I want to continue to explain these folders. So the next folder will be red folder news. which is high impact expected. So again, the forecast, the actual, the previous. Now, again, another situation where the actual was lower than what they were expecting. So in this point, when this was released, the US, any pairs that were attached to the US dollar were probably selling. Now, to tie this up, you guys, because I don't want you to think that when these news releases come out, oh, I need to get in for a sale for the day. No, that is not the case. How news works is, and I'm gonna actually note this. So take your screenshot of this because I'm going to replace this with new notes. Actually, I'll put it right next to it because I don't need to delete it just yet. And I might not have to delete it. So key takeaways. I know we're not done. I have to show you one more thing, but key takeaways. When orange or red folder news, wow, I can't spell. Y'all didn't see that. When orange or red folder news is expected to be released, if you have no experience, give the market 15 minutes, 15 to 30 minutes to react to that news. And just to elaborate, news does not determine the trend of the market, you guys. Whatever is happening on the day time frame or the weekly, that's your overall trend for the week. News only determines momentum based on a good or bad release. So if you get an orange or red folder news showing up on your Forex Factory when you open it up, whatever day that may be, and you see that you're gonna have that orange or red folder news come out, what you need to think is, if this release is bad, the market is gonna sell for 15 to 30 minutes. And honestly, it's not even that long. It's usually like 5 to 10 minutes, but I personally like to give the market a little bit of time just to go back into its overall trend. But if you see orange or red for the news, just tell yourself, okay, when this news comes out, it's gonna be either good or bad. If it doesn't go, if you don't know how to trade it, just wait it out. That's all I can say. So let me, let's see. So there's y'all 2 notes. Now, what I want to show you guys is, and the reason why I have this chart put up is because there was some news that happened for the US dollar. We're on the 5-minute chart. And the reason I'm on the lower time frame is because when that news comes out, the reaction happens so quick in the market that you won't even notice it on the higher time frames. Like, the only way you'll notice it is if it happens right when like a 4-hour candle is about to close, or maybe even the day chart candle is about to close, ironically around, when that news is being released. But most of the time, you'll notice those news releases on like the 5-minute to 15, the lower time frames where the candles close literally while the news is being released. So this is NZUSD, as I said, we're on a 5-minute chart. Now, as you notice, 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, there was some orange and red folder news that was released. Now, this very first one that was released was, in fact, bad news. Now, the one following it was good news. Now, even though it was lower than the forecast in the previous, they're showing it as good news. I don't know why. I mean, you would think it would be maybe red. Maybe it's because it's not negative, it's still positive. So if it were like lower, then I guess that would be bad. But ideally, they looked at this as good news. Now, just to show y'all, I clicked the folder, the little details folder, and here's an example where it says why traders care. So this is where you need to be reading and studying so that you can understand why traders care, how they apply to their trading, and things of that nature. I'm not going to break that part down for y'all. I'm going to give y'all some homework, okay? That's how I know if y'all actually doing stuff. So going back to the charts though, we're going to go back to the charts and we're going to look at what happened around 8:30 a.m. And we're also going to check the 10 a.m. was selling. We'll start with the 8:30 a.m. because I want to show you what happened. So today is the 26th. Let's go to 8:30. Where's my arrow? Now keep in mind we're on the 5-minute chart. All right, so I have this point into this candle right here where you see the long wicks. That is the candle that formed from the news release. Now, as I said, even though this one was, you know, bad news, this one was good news. So this candle, it pushed up in a buy, but I believe it closed out in a sell because of that bad news. But overall, if you want to trade news, you guys, keep in mind that it happens so quick, y'all. It's like the quickest trades ever. So if you want to trade news, I recommend either doing it on a 5-minute chart so that you can literally take a 5-minute trade because this candle only takes 5 minutes. Or you could even go down to the 1-minute chart. I don't know if my zones are going to match up with the 1-minute chart. They might. I didn't mark this on the 1 minute. So let's see. Make sure that's still. Yeah, so this is that candle. If you want to trade on the 1 minute, you know, you can. But my best advice is to get used to news first and then, you know, go from there. I personally don't even trade news. This is just what I've been learning more and more as I like focus on it. Because when you focus on stuff, that's how you build the skill. So overall though, you guys, this candle right here, it closed out in very long wicks because of news. And most of the time, that's how wicks are produced. Wicks are produced from either the market being exhausted and, you know, now it wants to sell. Excuse me. I just drank water, y'all. I'm sorry. So wicks form from either the market being exhausted and, you know, it's ready to reverse, or they form because of news. And there will also be moments, let me see what happened with this 10. So 10 a.m. And that was bad news. Let's see if we can see it in the market because it should have caused it to sell. Okay, so right here, beautiful example of what news does to the market. So right here, you guys, 10 a.m. If you notice, all these candles were confused. There's a lot of wicks, a lot of rejection, dojis, the whole shebang. That lets you know that that was all because of news. Like the market was indecisive. It didn't know what it wanted to do. It was really just reacting to, you know, that news release. And then once that news release took place, it proceeded to its overall trend, which is selling. So news doesn't determine the trend, you guys. It just determines the momentum in the market. And like I said, if you don't have the experience or if you don't want to even trade fundamentals, just keep in mind the folder colors, the impact, and then what to do when you see those given folders. So that concludes this video now, you guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned a ton. And if you need further help with anything, or if there's any topics you want me to cover, message me on Instagram, leave them in the comments. Either way, I will provide the video for you as long as you let me know. So I will see you guys in my next video, and I hope you are having a profitable week.